Hey guys, this is Rye Art with another tutorial. This time we're going to discuss how to paint a skull with its mouth open. So it's going to be something a little different. So we're going to start off pretty easy here. We're just going to mark out exactly the point of where the eyes are going to be and the nose of the skull. So it's pretty simple. You're just gonna, if you look at any pictures of any skulls, of course, I want you guys to have a reference image that you've drawn from here. But if you look at like the eyes of any skull reference image, immediately the area where the eyes are going to be, it's going to be just pretty dark, almost black. So that immediately tells you, what you need to do is start off with those dark colors and put them in where they're going to be. So skulls are, I haven't painted a skull in a long time, but they're generally pretty simple. So you just want to paint in exactly that area, the socket. Yeah, I'm just going to call it the socket, the socket of the eye. I'm pretty terrible with anatomy. I was always told when I was starting to do art is I have to learn anatomy. I never did. I just, painted. I just got a reference and painted that. So I never really bothered to learn anatomy. It's nice to know if you're painting full figures, but for portraiture, I think you'd be fine. You don't really have to learn it because I never did, and I think I'm doing just fine. But yeah. So if you look at any skull reference, it's always going to be, these eye sockets are always dark because they're pretty deep. So it's pretty easy to lay that in first, because immediately you'll know where that is. And once you lay down those two sockets, those two dark areas, then you can immediately lay down the nose, because that nasal cavity is right in between, of course. So you can lay that in as well. You can just leave a mark, kind of like how I started, and that immediately gives you a map of where everything else goes. So it's just easy. It's really not that difficult to paint something like this. It'll probably get difficult once you start painting in the teeth. The teeth are a little tricky. But just like with everything else, you want to have your colors pre-mixed. For this one that I'm painting here, I kind of went with a greenish tone just to change it up a little bit. But you can come up with any color mixture you want, honestly, for a skull. You could go a reddish tone. You could go for a yellowish tone. But here, as I said, I'm going for something more green. And we're going to have almost a pure black background as well for this, just to make everything pop. So we'll see at the end how that looks like. You already saw it in the thumbnail, of course. So, but yeah, that's what we're going for here. And here you guys can see I'm working on the side of that eye socket there. I should have honestly started working on the other eye immediately, just to balance it out. But and I recommend you guys doing that, just to work on both those eyes. Just fill it in, and then you can move up either into the forehead or move down into the nose and the mouth. Typically, I work on the two eyes, fill those out, then I'll move down to the nose, as I'm doing there right now, actually, just to make it easier. That's better for beginners to do that. Yeah, and then you just move down slowly, and then move back up if you want. But the key really is just to keep moving around. Don't work in one area forever, because it'll just mess you up in the long run, and you'll kind of hurt your composition. And you'll also hurt the accuracy of where everything should be, because you might overpaint one area too much, and it just might look funny. So you kind of just want to make sure both sides look right, and that's why I recommend working a little bit on both sides, just because they almost have to mirror each other to look right. And there we go. Now I'm filling in that other eye. eye socket, I should say. So once we have that in there, we're basically trying, at least I'm trying to like mirror the other side. Um, so that way the proportions just look right. And I recommend doing that. So once you mirror it a little bit, then you can come in and change it up if you want. You can add like little cracks, here and there to the bone. I kind of did that a little bit, but I didn't overdo it. So you can add like cracks and add scratches and whatnot, and you can just do that with your darker paints. It's pretty simple. Yeah, so here I'm adding a little bit of little detail. You guys can see these little lines that I have like right above the nose, that little ridge there. So I just went in with the darkest color and just added little lines. It's pretty simple, so it's not that difficult. Just don't blend them, of course, because if you blend them, then they go away. You can blend a little bit, just to make it look, give it the illusion that it's more detail. So yeah, it's pretty simple to get that in there. And then here, as you can see, we added in that nose cavity, and now we're adding a little bit more detail in there as well. I'm just adding a very light tone. I'm picking up basically just a little bit of paint on my brush, and then I'm putting it in there, and then I'm blending that tone with the background of that dark color there in the nose cavity. And that kind of gives it the illusion that it's, kind of like far off in the distance. And it's a great little technique. almost as if like it's there, you know, it looks realistic, but it's just, you know, it's just a little spot of paint. But it gives it that illusion, that depth, that you can almost like put your finger in there and feel that bone in the back. And now we're starting to see it come together. Just adding in that those two sockets and the nose and a little bit of the mouth, a little bit of the forehead. Now you're starting to have, you know, a better map of what you need to do. So that I always make sure that I have that little section. Like if you look at any of my portrait paintings, I always make sure to have that little section of the portrait done first. Because once I have that, now it tells me what I need to do next, and it tells me where everything else needs to go. And now we're finally getting to the part with the teeth. Now the teeth are very tricky. So what you want to do here is try to get your lines in, okay? So the lines that are going to be between the teeth, each tooth. I recommend doing that first. Now, a lot of beginners will draw those lines like straight down. That could be the case maybe for the front teeth, but the sides come in at an angle. So you want to make sure you have those teeth at an angle. And I'm sorry for if you guys are getting flashbanged here by my video quality. Unfortunately, I still have to fix my quality here. I'm still having issues with that, unfortunately, but we're getting there. But yeah, so you want to paint those lines in at an angle. Don't do it straight. That's a complete beginner mistake, and I see it so many times. So try to get that done first, get those lines in, and then once you have those lines in and they look right, you can come back and fix it. But if they look right, then you can come in and start actually, painting in those teeth. And the teeth are not white. Don't take some titanium white and use that for your teeth. That's a terrible idea. They're not white. For this skull, using the same tone, as you can see, same color, greenish color, because everything's going to look the same really in this for this particular painting that I'm doing. So you're for your teeth, you're still going to have the lighter tones, mid-tones, and darker tones. And I'm going to add like a few cracks. I'm going to add like some broken teeth in there. So I'm going to use that darkest tone that I have as well. So pay attention here and watch how I'm going to do this. Now you can kind of see it coming in pretty well together. So once you have that in there, now you can come in and add your background just to make the teeth pop out and giving yourself pretty much expanding that map to allow you what to do next. And as you can see, I'm kind of adding a little detail on some of the teeth here, maybe adding some cracks to them, adding some darken up some of the sides. It depends on where the lighting is coming from, of course, and that'll tell you what sides should be dark and what sides should be light. And adding in those little the little cracks or showing like a tooth is broken, that's always fun, and it's so easy to do. You just go in there with your darkest color and put that in there and blend out the edges a little bit. And there you go. That's the realism. It's very simple. You don't need to make it any more difficult than that. Now we're going to add more of the background, as you just saw, and now you're starting to see even more of it come out. And we're adding in some more detail, of course. So around that area, the philtrum, area, there's going to be more detail, more cracks, more depth. And I'm just going in there with my darkest color and just adding that in there. Now we're adding that final piece there, the bottom jaw, which is just fairly simple. So you guys saw I already added in the background first, a little bit of it anyway. And you just come in with a lighter tone, not like your lightest tone, just come in with like the tone that's almost as dark as your darkest. And just come in there and layer on top of the background and just blend it in. And that'll give you that effect that it's there, Just make sure you're following your reference image, because we don't want it to look like it's floating on top of the background. You want it to blend in with the background, just to give it that illusion of realism. And here we're adding the bottom row of teeth there, and honestly, so like it looks, it may look real as I'm by the time I'm done with it, but it's just so simple the way I added it. I just added some lighter tone there for the upper half of the teeth, the very tips of them, I guess, just to show that there's some light reflecting off of them. And then basically just playing around with the tones. I just take some more lighter tones and I just throw them in there and blend the edges out with the background. And then I take some of the darker colors that I have, and I just put down some marks between the teeth, just to make it look like teeth. Like if you were to zoom in, they would look like just splotches of paint, honestly. I just kept playing with it till it started to look real to me. and taking a step back also is important. Just once you put your stuff in there, take a step back and look at it from a distance to see if it looks real enough. Because that's the trick, no one's going to be looking at your paintings like with their, with the canvas up to their, right in their eyes. They're going to be looking at it from a distance, and that's going to be what makes it look real. So honestly, like it was all tricks. I'm not going in there with the idea of painting in like a tooth with as much detail as possible and to make it look as realistic as possible. No, not at all. I'm just going in there to make the illusion of a tooth, or in this case, a whole set of teeth, the bottom teeth. And you guys can see how quickly I did it. I mean, the video is sped up a little bit, but I did it pretty quickly. Just like I said, just threw in some splashes of paint and blended out the edges into the background. And then I came back in with some the darkest tone that I have. I think I used the same color that I used for the background. And I just added some lines just to separate out the teeth and add some lines in the little teeth in the sides there. And that's it. And here we're just gonna add in the rest of the head at the top, which I'm adding like a mid-tone-ish color, and then I'm gonna blend it in with that lighter color that's already there right underneath it, just to blend it in and make it look good, as you guys can see right now I'm doing. And that's it. And we're gonna add in the background, and it's gonna look pretty good. I'm actually happy with the way this one turned out. But yeah, if you guys are like too scared to do a full portrait, I highly recommend doing a skull first. It's just much easier, and you're going to be using a lot of the same elements for portraits. And skulls are just good practice. You can practice your tones, you can practice your details and whatnot. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I think I'm going to do another skull, something with more interesting colors, and we'll I might do it next. So my next video, I'll probably do another skull. I might use some red lighting, more reddish tones. We'll see. We'll do something interesting with it. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and share with your art friends. And if you guys want to see anything specific, please share in the comments below. Thank you.